Alex case clearly showed us that there is major corruption in Arkansas. But could it also be in Indiana? More specifically, in Delphi.
And they were shipping it through UPS in candle wax. It all over Delphi, Kokomo, down to Rushville. See, like, people have always thought I was crazy with this theory. Tina and I know what Christy was up to and what the involvements were. And even for Derek not to come out and share some of this for 7 years.
Pathologist Dr. Baden came out of the autopsy and said, "This doesn't look like a self-unaliving. It looks more like a perpetrated red rum." Okay?
Also in this report, they tested them for all kind of, not just illegal ones, but even sleep medicines and things like that. All 4 girls were negative. So as far as whether they didn't smell the fire because of some other source, the answer is no.
You see how the manipulation goes?
Listen, they had Megan Allen's earrings, or they didn't test those. They didn't test all of the body parts of the girls.
And law enforcement is putting us in this position. So if you don't like it, law enforcement, think about who got us to this situation.
Not going to close his case. He said the house looked like there had been a party, and he said, Michelle, that's an evil, he told our family, that's an evil house. There's evil in that house. That's what the coroner told us. So
Wow.
Yeah.
So, don't be telling people where you are and what you're doing. Don't be telling law enforcement stuff, because it's going to come back to bite you.
No, just skull x-rays, but I can't have an MRI. I don't know what I'm going to do, actually. And, I know Milgram definitely was with me because I saw him off and on through all my life, up until I was about 18 years old. But then I think Delgado only came for the surgery.
Not 5 minutes later, Jerry Holman called me, a recovery streamer.
I cannot declare that Richard Allen is totally innocent.
I really had a... So how, you finished your book?
I did. So y'all just know, if you ever get called from jail, you already know what my charge is. Somewhere, somehow, I have been. For some reason. Well, hello, my silky friends. How are you doing? I'm look, I just hopped on here. I had a lot of stuff on my mind. Flora was one of them. I thought, let's talk about that. Let me say hello to all of y'all. I might have to put my glasses on. Yeah, what a week. What a year. Y'all. I think I really want to do a video, just a live stream, a video, something like, please let me off the, what is this, 2025 train. Like, please stop. Let's just fast forward, to 2026. I'm done. I'm done with 2025. It needs to be over. Okay. But it's all good. Sort of. It's crazy. Hello, Deb. Good to see you. Sweet dude, Shibby. Hello. Shibby. Lucy Anders, good to see you. Hello. David Rogers. How you doing, David Rogers? Good to see you too. I know I get a lot on the replay, and so yeah, I didn't make an announcement. Y'all know I don't do that a lot. And so, here we are. I was going back through some stuff. Had Flora on the brain a little bit. Delphi, it's not that Delphi is over. Okay, Delphi is not over. It is, we are into the next chapter. But certainly there are things that are very strange in that little community, um, things that touch on Delphi. Uh, and Flora is one of them. It's one of the tentacles, okay? And so I think I actually, and y'all know, if you've been with me for a while, you know the reason I don't talk about Flora is because I get so angry and I either lose my temper or I start to cry or both. And I can't keep it together. So I did some videos like along the way. Flora gets me. Like it really does. It's hard for me to talk about it. I don't know why. Like my heart, like Delphi has always had my heart, but Flora, oh, it enrages me. And I don't know. Flora has a completely different effect. And um, it just makes me to the point that I just need to shut up. Okay. Because I'm fixing to be online saying stuff I don't want to be remembered for the rest of my life. Um, yes, you are right. You are right. Flora could use more attentions. Tentacles all up in there. Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, Ninja Warrior. Good to see you. Um, yes, it is a very, David Rogers, it is a very extremely touchy case. And, here's the thing. Speaking of touchy, hello, Zaji. Hello, baby. Um, it's been a touchy week. I've had some touchy situations. People are touching me. People are touching me. Not physically touching me. People are doing things again. I am in that situation where people are touching me and it's just making me mad because I have been behaving myself. Y'all, have I not been behaving myself online? I've been talking about Lizzie Borden. I mean, that case has been over for 130 years. So, I feel like I have been pretty dang good. Um, and so I have a lot of stuff coming up. And I thought, you know what? I'm over you. I'm over you. Um, so yeah, I'm not going to talk about it, but I've been touched and I don't like it. And I just thought, you know what? If I behave myself and you're going to annoy me, then I'm just going to annoy you back. So there you go. That's what this is about. Let me say hello to some of you. Deb, I'm sorry. And I know every time her bottom is up here, it makes me blur. Those poor little girls didn't have a chance. No, they didn't. And, and that's part of what gets me in this situation. I mean, not that Abby and Libby had a chance either, but a little bit more of one. These girls, like, none. Hey, Samantha, how are you? How you doing? I hope I saw that you emailed me. I didn't have time to read it. I was just about to go on. Hey, no, don't tear up my lights. Hey, Carol, did you see my intro? I put you in my intro. I haven't forgotten. Am I yelling, y'all? I'm probably yelling. I'm all up in my feels. All up in my feels tonight because I'm aggravated. But and that's I figured if I'm in my feels, let me just go ahead and feel out Flora. Might as well. But no, Carol, I haven't forgotten about your doing some more stuff on yours. I was caught up with Lizzie. I'm still doing Lizzie, but I want to go back to some of your stuff. I find it very interesting, Carol, that the more stuff that I see, and I don't know why AI is bringing it out more, but I keep hearing more and more about Milgram and Delgado to the point that Brain Bungler, well, yeah, I think you maybe were in the audience when he said it first, but, or you were in the chat, but, he's like, he starts quoting from Milgram. I'm like, did you know that we have somebody in here who was a test subject of Milgram? And I keep hearing his name and Delgado's come up more and more and more. And as I do, Carol, I'm like, you know what? This must just be the time that, God is just bringing everything together. I don't know. So I haven't forgotten about you. Let's see. Let me go on down. Ninja Warrior, thank you. I think I've been behaving myself too. Keith Kellogg, how are you? Thank you, Keith. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Good to see you. Aw, Ninja Warrior, you're so sweet. I know you're doing good. Look, this is for behaving yourself. I can't, I can't, I guess it doesn't even matter, does it, if I behave myself or not? I've been trying, though. Look, she's bound and determined to knock this light off. Look, I love you. I do, but you just can't. You can't. Say hello. Say goodbye. All right. Oh, so, okay. More of the same. I'm sorry, Samantha. I'm sorry. I know. Look, let me just tell y'all. If you think you had a bad day, I've had a lot of bad days lately. A lot. I've had a bad week. Just a while ago. And yes, I'm in my night shirt. And I don't apologize. I just don't. I'm sorry. I didn't dress up for y'all tonight. I didn't. But it could be worse. I'm just want to be comfortable. But I just went, not that y'all, this is probably a little TMI, y'all. I know this, but I go in there, you want to make sure your bladder is nice and empty before you go online. And I walk into the bathroom and I have to kind of be careful in my maneuvering. And wouldn't you know it, I go through the floor. I knew it was going to happen. The guy is coming to fix it. I had a leak that I didn't realize had gotten that bad. But it's only Thursday. I still have 2 more days. Through the floor. I'm like, yes, what a great day it is. Hallelujah. So yeah, it's great, y'all. It's great. It's all good. It's all good. That's not to ask for anything, y'all. I'm not asking you for anything. I'm just saying, I've got this covered. I'm just saying, yeah, whatever. But yes, Carol, yes, I have heard a lot of stuff. Oh my gosh, Carol. You just came back from Boston and you made a film. Okay, who'd you make a film? Oh my God. Okay. We have a class action lawsuits going on with 2,000 survivors. Wow. Awesome. I would like to hear your story about your lawsuit. I know you probably can't now, but when you can, look, I think it's awesome. It's about dadgum time. I know you have been through, your whole life has been, I know, we've talked about it. Y'all, if you have not seen or heard Carol's story, she's been on, well, we've done 3 or 4 episodes at least on here. She is an MK Ultra survivor. And if you have not seen, we started this, Carol, about 2 years ago, at least 2 years ago. Yeah. We did our first interviews. It was a 2-parter. We kept getting shut down. Somebody said to me, Carol, she's tailed throughout her life. And our communication is shut down a lot. Or it used to be. I think they just gave up now. So somebody says to me a couple of months ago, they called me up and they said, just so you know, I've been hacked and there's a good chance your phone number is compromised as well. I'm like, really? Yeah, and they thought I'd be really upset about it. I'm like, let me tell you something, buddy. The Illuminati has had my phone number for the last 2 years. So, I'm not worried. But anyway, yeah. So Carol has been through it. If you have not heard her story, go back. I've got it listed. It's MK Ultra Survivor. There's several of them. Oh my god. Wonderful, wonderful story. Not wonderful as in good, but amazing, amazing story. Okay, David says Flora's story is representative of a bigger problem in Indiana. That would be insurance fraud. Yes, 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 yes. And look, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back through some of my old videos. So then I don't have to, get mad twice. Well, I'll still get mad again, but. Okay. So Carol says a Spanish film company filmed our activist convention in Boston. We'll be on Netflix in a couple of months. Oh my gosh. Gotta let us know. Carol, please call me and let me know. Wow. Yeah. I actually, well, I can't live stream it without getting a major strike, but not on YouTube. I'll try to see how we can. I would love to live stream it. I'd love to be able to, be able to talk about it. Buckeye, hey, how you doing? Hey, Silky, off topic a little bit. Another YouTube person says the creepy teacher who unalived the hiking couple in Arkansas is a suspect in many other unalivings, including Delphi. Really? Oh man, I really wanted to cover that. I really, really wanted to cover that. It's been so insane at work, and now I probably can't say really anything about what's going on, but there's some major issues there too. Just long, insane hours, and I've come home just exhausted. I flop on the couch and I take a nap so that I can have enough strength to get up and go to bed. So that's where I've been asleep. Let's see. Ooh, Carol says I have a CAT scan of my brain implants. Look, I want to see it all. I do. I want to see it all. All right, Carla Ann, good to see you. Okay, I want to know if you, Carol, if you can show me a link. I would love to see that. Deb says, and are we talking about? Hold on. Deb says he matches the Young Bridge guy. Are we talking about the guy that unalived the hikers? Okay. I heard he's a suspect in another unaliving in Wisconsin at Devil Lake. You know what? Maybe we should look into that. We probably should, shouldn't we? It's time to make a change, Keith says. Yes, it is. I need to have a whole change, like a really whole change. My kids, they want me to change a lot of stuff. We'll talk about that on a fun show. I don't want to talk about it right now because it's funny and tragic, but I don't feel like it fits the vibes for Flora. All right, I am going to try. The bridge guy is fake. Yeah. I get so, I just get so infuriated, Keith. I mean, we've covered this, oh my God. This whole thing, again, all of these videos and all this stuff, it's like, did y'all hear the testimony? I've got it. I did a live on it, and I've still got those clips from 3 different creators who were in that courtroom who said he was so tiny you couldn't see. Like, one creator said, I didn't even see him, like, at all. So how is this where he's right there, like, you can't miss him? Like, okay, either that's a lie or you need like not just glasses, you need like new eyeballs. Because if you can't see that, you are definitely blind. So it can't be that. I'm It's like, do you think if you say this often enough, people are going to forget? I guess they do. Like, you put something in somebody's head and you say, this is the video, this is the video, this is the video, this is the real 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 video. People are going to forget that what we heard the first time. It was a little tiny speck. The people in the courtroom said, little tiny speck. I didn't even see him. Like, I had like, whoop, there, he was there. I had to go back and say, oh, is that him? Like, come on. I might have fallen off the turnip truck, but it wasn't yesterday. Okay. I'm done ranting for right now. We haven't even started on Flora. I'm already all tore up. Let's say goggles. Yeah. Deb, the second sketch looks similar to the Devil's Den guy. You know what? Y'all have convinced me. I'm going to have to start looking into that. Okay. Hey, Heather Brown. Good to see ya. How you doing? Yes, it's made up with the state's narrative. Yeah. Yes, Carol Ann. Total manipulation. I'm just like, I wonder, here's my question though. Y'all, like me, who have been following this forever, did your brains fall out? Did they? Like, from one day to the next, did your brains just like leak out of your head and you cannot remember what actually was said in court? What these people who swear they were there in the courtroom and they saw this, did you forget? Did they forget? Did everybody forget? Is this a Mandela effect? Like, did I swap timelines? Am I in a parallel universe? Am I the only one that remembers this? Because like I'm like, okay, like, whoa, I obviously I'm in another dimension. Because I'm looking at this and I'm like, why are we looking at this video? Why are we looking at it? Because this is not correct. So why do I even care about this video? Why am I studying it? It's crap. It's made up. Or else they lied to begin with. Which one is it? It can't be both. God, y'all just, like, again, not yesterday. I didn't fall off yesterday. Let's see. Most people think the Arkansas couple were not his first victims. So police departments in unsolved cases are talking to Arkansas police. You know, that guy was so weird looking. It's like, can you imagine him being at going to pick up your kids or something, going to PTA meeting, and you see this guy? That'd be like, excuse me, what do you teach? I'd be telling my kids, it's weird. Stay away. Some days you just need a good rant. Yes, we do. Ninja Warrior says they unalived those Florida girls, and I believe it was all homegrown. I am going to shut up, I promise. And we're going to watch some videos because, you see, I am all wound up. But I was watching my own videos, and I was highlighting some things. And I'm like, you know what? Let me just say it. These were not lives, okay? These were all videos. So I would love to. Oh no. Hold on. This is from work. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm sorry. That was just a crazy question out of nowhere. Anyway, I just, I'm sorry. The question was about enemas, okay? And it just really, really threw me. I wasn't expecting that. So I have no idea where I was going with that. Whatever. Okay. Critical thinking is not allowed. Yes, yes. Um, let's see. Yes, Keith Kellogg, you have a very good point. Very, very good point. I wondered the same thing. Some of the organizations were there briefly, like about some things, but you would think, I mean, come on, let's be real. They usually are right there, really putting up a fuss, but that wasn't the case. So why wasn't it? Um, let's see. It looks like a Garbage Pail Kid. Okay, I'm going to show you some of the stuff that I did because I really wanted to hear what you say in real time, because I get a lot of comments on my videos, but in real time or on the replay in real time. One is like, two of them are like 10 minutes, one is 19 minutes, and we're going to go through them. I'll stop in between, but I really want you to tell me what you think, because I think the first one is like when I almost, what is this, 20, so this is 2.5 years ago maybe that I was doing this. So I didn't know as much about Flora in the first two ones as I did the last one. But let's go ahead and do this and hope that, y'all, this gave me fits. Trying to play this. So let's hope. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, okay. Maybe it's going to work. We'll see. Let's try this. So while I have been covering the Delphi murders, I became aware that a lot of you don't really know much about the 4 little girls who were unalived just 3 months prior in Carroll County. But why hasn't this case gotten as much attention as Delphi? I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Is it because they weren't white? Well, hello, my silky friends. Now that I have ticked everybody off, let's talk about Flora. And I'm just going to warn you, this case makes me very angry, and I am going to try to keep this video just on the initial events, okay? Because this one has so many tentacles, like Delphi. But let's start on November 21st, 2016, just a couple of months before the Delphi murders. Now, in the town of Flora, just a little ways up from Delphi, there was a lovely woman named Galen Rose who lived there with her 4 daughters, Kiana, Kiara, Kiani, and Cariel. Now, they were ranged in ages from, 11, 9, 7, and 5. All of the neighbors and the residents of Flora said that this was a beautiful family. The girls were always happy. They were always outside practicing, cheers, and they would always smile, wave. Galen was a single parent. From what anyone can tell, she was doing a great job. Now, in the early morning hours of November 21st, 2016, just after 3 a.m. is when the problem started. So let's take a look at the layout of the house so you can kind of see what's going on. All right, so this is the outside of the house, and you see this side entrance up to the 2nd floor. Now, Galen's bedroom was here, and on the right of the screen, you will see her bedroom. She says her bedroom door was open, and let me let you see this in her own words. This comes from the actual fire report, which is like 58 pages long.
so Galen gets up and immediately tries to get to her children. And as she's trying to go up the staircase, it's just covered in smoke. She can't, and she makes it out the front door. But now let's look at the timeline. So my initial question is, your house is on fire, Josh. Why do you wait 6 minutes to call 911? Huh? The initial policeman, to my understanding, on the scene was Drew Yoder. And we have a whole video from his dash cam that has recently been released. We're going to get into that in the next video in depth. But for right now, you can clearly see Drew running in the house trying to get the children out. Here is some footage. So I have a lot of questions for another video when we are going to study the timeline in depth. But for now, let's look at the firefighters' response. Okay, you can definitely see a delay. And when we watch more of this video, you are going to see some really disturbing things. But let me just throw this out here. After the fire department arrived, it was a full 5 minutes before they started putting water to that fire. Does that seem a little excessive to you? Especially when we watch the video. Okay, to sum this up, the family, the police officers, they were unable to access that top bedroom. And so unfortunately, when the girls' bodies were brought out, they tried to save them, but it was too late. They had already passed away. Now, I also have a copy of the coroner's report, which I have read for all 4 girls. And this is basically what it says. You can clearly see that Galen was a very good mother. Those girls were very healthy, down to their dental. You know, it is mentioned of how well nourished and how, you know, basically hygienic these girls were. They did suffer burns, but it is unknown whether it was pre or post-mortem, mostly because the cause of death was the smoke inhalation and the soot in their lungs. Also in this report, they tested them for all kind of drugs, okay? Not just illegal ones, but even sleep medicines and things like that. All 4 girls were negative. So as far as whether they didn't smell the fire because of some other source, the answer is no. Those girls were perfectly healthy when they went to sleep with 0 drugs in their system. Now, the initial investigation into the fire, that report says, that it was electrical or something like that in the kitchen area. There is no arson, no foul play. So it's just a tragic accident. Like tragic accidents just happen all the time in Carroll County. I'm just saying. It's a very, very unlucky place to live. But then the state fire marshal, Dennis Randall, comes in, and there are some other investigations, and we will go in detail about that. But they said, oh, no, it is arson. Arson. So now we're faced with this question: who would want to harm Galen and her 4 precious daughters? I mean, what's the point? Now, this is going to get very murky and very detailed, so that's why I'm just giving you the synopsis here. As you can tell on the video, and when we watch the actual fire video, it is horrific listening to Galen and knowing her children are perishing, okay? It's very hard to hear, and I will give you a warning when we do that video. For now, let's talk about what happened after the Flora fire, which is still unsolved today. The house is still sitting there. I mean, it's been 6 years. You can't figure out who did this? I don't buy it. Anyway, shortly thereafter, after they said it was arson, and then there's different conflicting reports about how many places, and I mean, it's just a big old mess. So then a few months later, in 2017, you have these mass resignations. Dennis Randall, the fire marshal, the state fire marshal, he resigns. His son, Adam, who is there in Flora, he resigns. And the county prosecutor, Robert Ives, resigns. I'm not saying this means anybody is guilty. To me, it looks more like people saying, I don't want to have any part of this. There is some sketchy stuff with Dennis Randall, but for now, we're going to give him the benefit of the doubt, okay? As you can imagine, Galen found it impossible to stay in Carroll County anywhere, you know, where she had to pass that house, or even hear and know. Like, I cannot imagine how you live through something like this. And so she later moved to California, and I don't blame her at all. I would want to be as far away as I could get from Carroll County. But that's for multiple reasons. But again, as we wrap this segment up, I have some real big questions for you. Why does it take 6 minutes to dial 911? Why does it take 5 minutes to start water? Why are you going to stand out on the porch and watch the fire burn before you try to control it? Things that make you go, We're also going to find some interesting names from Delphi that kind of crisscross in Flora. Maybe it's coincidence. It's a small county. It could happen. As for Delphi, that case went worldwide. So many of us are asking questions, but not too many are asking about these 4 precious little girls. So why all the attention in Delphi and not in Flora? Yeah, at some point we're going to have to address Indiana's racism problem. Hey, I'm not casting stones. Alabama has been horrendous for it, but it is a problem, it is real, and that's why I want to know. Is this case not getting attention because of the color of these precious little girls' skin? I certainly hope not, Carroll County. Anyway, I kept it pretty calm for today. We're going to be diving more into Flora. Yeah, I'm going to make people mad. Whatever. Until next time, I hope you have a great week, and remember to always stay silky.
Okay. Well, let me find me again. There we go. All right, let me see what y'all are saying. Thank you, David Rogers. I appreciate that. Oops. Let me look at your comments. I was highlighting some of them. Firemen needed prosecuted after feeding that fire oxygen. Absolutely, they knew what they were doing. Absolutely. No doubt. Let me zip on down here. Y'all are wilding out here in the comments. Yeah, break out the windows, help the fire. Exactly. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna get livid in the next one. I'm just gonna tell you, I was so mad. I was so mad. Those videos of the fire department are incriminating. Yes, and I think I did. I stole Joe Lewis's fire. I think I might have done a live stream on that one. I think I stole his, and I asked him for permission. I did clip his video of the Flora fire, and so you probably, when we watch that one, you'll probably hear some of his comments. He was very nice and gracious enough, to me. He's always been very, very sweet to me, and he let me use that one. So you'll hear him in his comments. Let's see, very incriminating. Exactly, Keith. 3 things to make it burn: fuel, spark, or flame, and oxygen. 100%, Carol. You can tell it's an accelerant fueled fire. 100%. Oh, hello there. I don't even know if you're still here. Hey, Josh. Well, that was 5 minutes ago. Maybe you might be asleep, but okay, we'll see you on the replay. By the way, y'all, I think I did. I think you might know him as Lowlight Joshua Jackson. It's his other name. He just started a YouTube channel, I believe. So y'all go check him out. Let's see. Catch up real quick. David, I don't know. Honestly, I haven't been on Rumble in a while. I've got a channel on there I have neglected. I just don't have time. I don't have time. I used to listen to him some on Rumble. I used to have to catch the replay. I'm not sure. I haven't seen a notification from Joe Lewis in a long time, so I am not sure. He was doing some other stuff too. Other cases, I believe. Buckeye says, I'm going to highlight this one. Whoever said the sketch of the young Delphi suspect looks like Devil's Den guy, bingo. Yes, it does. Yes, Carol, Joe Lewis is a savage. He is. I know he's not everybody's taste. I get that. I do. He can be abrasive. It's not like, look, it is what it is. He tells the truth. And I know. I get it. Like, I get it. I can say this. Joe Lewis has always been very, very gracious to me. All right. I love him to pieces. So I have nothing at all bad to say about Joe. Okay, let's look. I'm going to hope it starts. This one, I'm going to tell y'all, I get heated up. I do. I get heated up. But this one, I believe, is the one that I go into the details of, because I'm reading from the transcripts of the timing. What happened when? When did they smell the smoke? Who did what? And who's standing outside, and the time that it takes to call. So I think this one is like 19 minutes. And I try to keep it together. I go a little sideways, but it's not too bad. Let's see. Is he Heather Brown? Is he taking some time off? He might be. He deserves it. He probably should. Yes, passionate is the word I would use. It absolutely. Tons of credit has to go to Joe's Crime Night. It's his passion. Absolutely. I absolutely that he and Iva Apophis and True Crime Design, and also y'all remember Julia. Was it Julia? No, Julia. What was it? Oh my God, she's not on anymore. Her channel's not up. Those channels. I mean, and I listen to everybody. Okay. I listened to everybody. I got to know who everybody was. But those channels, when I started researching Delphi, I really tried to go with an open mind. Okay. Let me see what I think. Um, those channels really brought out some things that I couldn't ignore. All right. If I ever wanted to go with a narrative and say, oh, well, I believe that the police are right, they've got the right guy. Yeah, look, y'all, it is easier to sleep at night. Okay. And I've said this before. It is so much easier to sleep at night when you think and you believe that they have the right perpetrator. When you think that they've got the right guy for Abby and Libby and all these other crimes, it is so easy to sleep. You're like, finally, justice is done. Do I want or did I want in the beginning to believe the narrative? Of course I did. Of course I did. Just like everybody else, I wanted to sleep at night until I started looking at things that didn't make sense. And then when I started looking at that and I had questions and I'm like, well, wait a second. And this doesn't match and this contradicts that. And this doesn't add up. Then I started not sleeping at night. And that's been ever since 2022. Okay. Not that I slept a whole lot before that, but you know what I'm saying? I absolutely, that is why. That is why. And those channels really made me dig deeper. And so, I mean, a huge shout out to all of those creators that made me think, wait a second. Yeah, what about that? What about that? Then I started doing my own digging and I'm like, oh my God. Then, Flora and Meow did so much work on Flora. And she sent me tons of stuff, tons and tons of stuff on Flora that I still have. You're never gonna find it. I still got it. The stuff that she gave me, I'm sure it's not her whole collection by far, but she sent me a lot of interesting things on Flora. But the point is, it was the second case that made me not sleep at night, and it made me mad that no one was covering it. And there were just elements that made it almost impossible for me to talk about it and behave with any kind of sense. So there you go. But we are going to look at this. All right. Let's see here. Oh, he hasn't been on for 2 months. Has it been that long? I mean, honest to God, y'all, my life is so crazy right now. I don't even know. I agree, Carol. I just look at Richard Allen and I'm like, I don't think he could have physically done it. Wow, 2 months ago. Well, maybe he just needs a break. Good for him. I wish I could take a 2-month break. I guess I could, but I can't. I miss y'all. That's why I'm on tonight. I was like, you know what? I haven't talked to people in a long time. I don't know what everybody's doing. I really just want to have a fun night where we just have fun. We just crack up. Whatever. But there's too much. There's too much on my brain, and then I started thinking about Flora and some of the other things. Y'all really have me interested, though, in the Arkansas thing and how it might relate. Even if it doesn't. Very interesting stuff. All right, let's try here. I had such a problem with this before, but I'm going to try to get to my next video. Oh, wait, that ain't it. Hold on. Let's see. Oh, wait a second. I'm still here. I'm behind the screen. The little man behind the screen that has no idea what they're doing right now. Okay. All right. Let's see what we can get cooking.
You're going even further into the Flora fire arson case.
Okay, it's going to
I'm
do
going to
it
be
again.
showing you
Look,
parts
I don't
of
know
the
what
fire
this
report.
thing is doing, but it has been acting insane. I cannot play a video on my own channel. It takes me just a hot minute to figure out what I'm doing wrong. And it's really not that I'm doing anything wrong. I don't know why it won't play. It just won't. Hold on. I have to just kind of mess with stuff, and then all of a sudden it plays, and I don't know why.
The response time and some actual video.
No, it's not.
And if this doesn't make you angry, then honey, nothing.
Y'all see
ever-
this? No, y'all can't see that. Like it's in the background, but when I go to play it, it does something weird, and it won't actually play for y'all.
Will.
There we go. I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, hello, my silky friends. Yeah, I'm just going to tell you, I'm already worked up because I've been reading this stuff over again. So let's get into Flora. Now, let me just say this. I immediately lost a couple of subscribers from my last Flora video, which, I started off by saying, is this because they are not white? Let me say right from the get-go, I do not believe that this is a racially motivated crime.
I changed my
really
mind
don't.
now, just for the record.
However, the coverage of it, or the lack thereof, to me, could possibly be a racial thing. But let's start with this fire report by a group. I believe it's called Exponent. And I'm going to let you look at this here. This is from a lawsuit that Galen Rose has against Birch Tree Holdings. So, of course, they did their own fire investigation, looked at depositions and testimonies of the different players in there. So the timeline comes from that.
Just so y'all know, that suit has been settled, and my understanding is it was a very small amount. But a lot of things, remember, this is 2 years ago, so a lot of stuff has changed. And like I said, I do feel like there is some. I'm not going to say it's all racial. I think there are some components that are. That's just my opinion, though, okay?
Also from cell phone timestamps, and it's just very disturbing. So here we can see who is, asking for this report. Is the name of the document. If you wanted to look that up, this was filed, as you see, on April 13th of 2022. Okay, so this fire report is 58 pages long. I am not going to read it to you, and I learned more about fires than I ever wanted to know. But here are a few things we need to take note of. Now, this structure was built somewhere between 1930 and 1950, so it was an older property. It had been turned into a duplex, and you will see where I have highlighted that it had an exterior stairway, which we saw in the last video, and here it says there was also an interior, for which I'm very glad, because I kept thinking so you had to access it only by the outside, but no. It does say that there was a stairway inside the home as well. But this was interesting. It had asbestos on the outside of it, which, look, a lot of houses had those in the 50s when people didn't know. So imagine this burning. I mean, I'm just saying. Okay, at the time of the fire, there were people in both rental units. On the upstairs unit, Courtney Dons and her fiance, Anthony Gray, were sleeping. They heard the smoke alarm, but because they slept in the living room, they were able to get out fairly quickly. Courtney said when she woke up, her eyes were burning and she started choking. And once she got outside, she observed that the smoke was pouring out of the house. Next door were Adam and Elizabeth Ayers, relatives of Josh Ayers, part of Birch Tree Holdings, who was the actual owner of the house. Now, up in here is where I get a little bit ill. At the time of the fire, Elizabeth said that she was awoken earlier at 2:45 a.m. and she was laying in bed trying to go back to sleep. From the front door, they could see smoke and Ms. Rose out on the front sidewalk screaming for help. They found her covered in soot, distraught, and frantically requesting help to save her children from the upstairs bedroom. Ms. Ayers reported the fire to the property owner and 911. And we're going to address this in just a minute, but keep watching. Okay, so the emergency responders were toned out for a fully involved house fire at 3:35 a.m. The first emergency responders to arrive were police officers who were also volunteer firefighters. The first arriving responder was Officer Dissinger of the Flora Police Department. So basically what it's going to talk about is Adam Ayers also ran in and was trying to save the children, but those two officers ran in the house first thing. But now remember, they were not dressed out in, with air packs and all that kind of stuff. So when they went in, they quickly found that they couldn't get very far. When Officer Yoder got there, he recalled smoke just rolling from the house on his arrival. Then Deputy Yoder recalled breaking out an east bay window on the front porch, and Dissinger punched out 2 windows on either side of the front door. So this is kind of confusing to me. Officer Dissinger says he's going up the outside stairwell, and he gets up there to the landing and he sees a woman saying, "I've already gotten the kids out." I'm assuming that this is Courtney and she's talking about her kids, but he goes back down. So I don't know what happened in that moment of confusion. It wasn't Galen up there because she clearly didn't have her kids out. So this is a little murky to me. But maybe I'm just misunderstanding the situation. At approximately 4.75 minutes after the initial 911 call connected, Deputy Yoder departed for the Flora Fire Department as Flora Fire Chief Adam Randall arrived at the site. Okay, so what you'll see in the dash cam, if you watch the full video, is Yoder goes into the house and he can't get the children out. So he gets back in his car and he goes to the Flora Fire Department, who still haven't left the fire station. Now the police officer is there. He's gone in the house, got to the fire station. What the heck? What are you doing? But let's continue. Approximately 2 minutes after having departed the site, or 6.75 minutes after the first 911 caller connected, Deputy Yoder returned to the site along with the first responding fire engine and the Flora Fire Department's equipment and bunker gear. Okay, in the last 6.75 minutes, a police officer has arrived at the house, went into the house, decided he can't save the children, got back in his car, went to the fire department, and came back, and now the fire department is actually there. Now let me say this, when you watch that whole dash cam video, you will see exactly how close the Flora Fire Department was to that danged house. As firefighter training will tell you, you only have 4 minutes to save a person before they pass away from asphyxiation, okay? So now it's been almost 7 minutes before you got there. I don't get it. Okay, now let's look at this one thing. But it says firefighter Jeremy Hayes also reported breaking out a window on the front porch later in response, and then observed that the front room immediately caught fire but was quickly controlled by water application. Well, yeah, that's why you bring the fire truck. Fire suppression application began approximately 12.25 minutes after the initial 911 call. Wow. I'm telling you, when you see the video, you are going to be livid. But by this time, the children had all passed away. They did try CPR, but nothing. They were already gone. Officers Yoder and Dissinger also received injuries,
as did Galen Rose. They were all transported to the hospital. Okay, so now I'm going to show you some video from Fox 59 of the dash cam of Drew Yoder. I could have done this straight from 59, but I wanted to show you some clips from Crime Night, who goes through this whole video. I will leave a link below to his video. He does such a great job, and I wanted you to hear his commentary because it is absolutely fantastic, and you really have to see the whole video to understand the whole thing. So let's hear what he has to say.
Still no fire on the front. Now let's watch these two firemen. Remind yourselves, they're still not entered the property. They've not gone in. You're going to start hearing Galen Rose crying again, shouting. So there's the first fireman. There's a fireman. This is where I believe this dude has thrown something inside the house. He's gone in vaguely and he's come straight out again. I believe this guy has thrown something in there, something to make the fire begin here on this part of the house. There's no reason for him to come out immediately at all because there's no fire. There's smoke, but there's no fire. So pay attention. There he goes in, he crawls in, and then he crawls straight out again. Crawls and he stands up. This fireman will smash out this window over here. And as soon as he does that, and there's a fire over here, you watch how this thing just engulfs in flames. Pay attention, I'll show you. Still no rescue recovery, still nothing. Absolutely nothing. Now you're going to start noticing there's going to be a flame that's going to start over here soon enough. Now, it's important to notice, whilst I'm here, I want you to pay attention to this individual, how he's going to smash out this window. Because by doing so, you watch how this fire completely engulfs the house, because all of a sudden there's more oxygen flowing through that property. They waited a little bit. I'll explain it to you as we go along. They're still looking. Still haven't gone in. They're paying attention at what's happening. Still haven't gone in. Now, right there. You need to hear he's smashing the windows. I want you to pay attention. He's smashing this window over here. Listen, you can hear him crack the windows. There. Now you watch, pay attention to this fire. Watch. Did you see this? Immediately, as soon as this oxygen began breathing into that house, watch how this fire began from the back and it just walks itself forward. Pay attention. And there's still no hoses being put on the fire. Absolutely nothing. They still haven't opened their hoses. The fire's just completely taken off. And they're still there. They're still not watering the place. Nothing. Now, look, it's now out through the front window that was smashed in by this fireman over here. He smashed it in. Now, the fire is out of that window because the oxygen is there. So, their actions here are erroneous. They should have had already the hoses on this property. And the reason why they didn't do it is because they wanted this property condemned. They wanted this property to burn to a degree that they could go and claim insurance money on this property. What they didn't expect was for this thing to get completely out of hand where those 4 little girls died. Let's continue. Now look how this fire is raging out of control. Now pay attention to this fireman. He should have put his hose on there already, and yet he's not. Now look at his actions. Look, he's watching the fire burn. You watch, soon enough, you'll be watching on the front here, in between the fire and the fireman. You can watch a little spray of water, meaning that he's in fact turned his nozzle, he's opened his nozzle, and he now begins spraying the fire. And I want you to pay attention also at how soon the fire is extinguished. It's about 4 or 5 seconds that this fire was extinguished. Pay attention, folks. I'll show you. He still has there. Right there, he's opened the hose. Now there, you can see the hose stretch. And you can hear it. Right there, he begins watering the fire. That's at the juncture where this fireman begins watering the fire, having waited for the fire to burn a little bit more. Now he's spraying the fire. But why did he have to wait so long? Why wait so long, folks? A good minute had gone by. Look how soon this fire was extinguished, folks, front and back.
Okay, are you as flabbergasted by this whole thing as I am? My mind can't even conceive of firemen standing on the porch waiting for the fire to get bigger. Even back up before that, when you watch the whole thing, when Officer Yoder first gets there, you see a window or some kind of opening. You see a live flame there under the stairwell on the exterior. So why didn't the fire truck immediately go to the spot of the fire that was like in the kitchen, dining room to that exterior door? Why go to the front porch when the fire is in the middle of the house? It makes no sense. But yet you're going to stand out on the porch forever, wait till it really catches on fire. Did they add accelerants? I don't know. But whether that happened or not, you cannot deny the fact that those firemen were on the front porch for minutes. And then they break out the window, and of course it ignites the fire even more, and still no hose. If you had to break the window there for whatever reason, you should have immediately started with the hose. But no, they just let it burn. To me, they are as much to blame for the unaliving of those children as the person that set the fire. But that's just my opinion. Now, do you see why this case makes me so angry? But let's go look at the timeline, okay? Because if you're not mad now, then you're really gonna be. Okay, let's look at this. At some point in the morning, we don't have an exact time, Galen Rose was awakened by the presence of smoke in her house. Now, if you'll remember, Elizabeth Ayres' testimony is that she woke up to, hearing Galen on the street saying smoke pouring out and Galen screaming for her children, and it's obvious the house is on fire. And I think I said Josh in my last video. Elizabeth is the one that called 911. But let's look at the timing. At 3:28 a.m., Josh is notified by Elizabeth. They think it says cell phone timestamp. And she tells him, quote, "Your house is on fire." But it is not until 3:34 that she is the first one to call 911 to report the house fire next door. 6 minutes later, 3:28, she calls Josh, waits for 6 more minutes to call 911. Now, did she think somebody else called or something? I don't know. During that time, during that initial 911 call, also Courtney Dawn's calls somewhere in the middle of that, and there's a timestamp for that. Here's my question. Now, if I see my neighbor's house is on fire, I'm awake, I see someone screaming about their children in the street, and I can see fire, smoke pouring out of the house, isn't my initial response going to be to call 911? If you come upon an accident, the first thing that you do is call 911, right? That is what any reasonable person does in an emergency. You call emergency first, not the home owner. I mean, what? Does Josh keep a fire truck in his pocket that he's just going to magically drop on the street? Is that why you called him first? And 6 minutes later called 911? Let me tell you something. At 6 minutes, it far surpasses that 4-minute mark where people can live through a fire. Doesn't it? Oh, but by all means, let's just call the homeowner because, he can work miracles. Maybe he's just going to walk in on water. That would be helpful, wouldn't it? I'm sorry, I'm mad. I am so mad about this case. So, the fire department, and, like I said, if you watch the full video by Crime Night, you will see how long it took the fire department to go a few blocks to put out a fire. Some days I'm glad I live in Alabama. I'm just about at the point where I can't talk about this anymore. So we're going to look at one more thing. Now, if you will look at this, at 3:41, the Flora Monroe Township Fire Department arrived. And that is 6 minutes after the 911 call. Yes, I know that takes them, a few seconds, whatever, a minute to get down the pole and into the fire engine. Everything else should have been together because that's what you do. You fight fires.
So to me, it was a longer response time, especially as an officer can get there and back before you get there. So at the end of the day, watching the whole video, looking at the timeline, it is quite apparent that they did not want to put out this fire until it had burned to a large degree. There's insurance money, which was collected. Even though it was arson, I'm not even going to get into the arson report right now, but it has been declared arson several times over. Starting, they believe, at the door that was under the stairwell, which I believe it was Officer Randall said was open. He expected it to be closed and locked. It was not. It was standing open. So that would suggest to me that somebody had a key. Wonder who all had a key to that residence. I'm going to stop talking because I'm upset. I believe this was a clear-cut case of arson for insurance money, based not just on the response time, but on some other factors. And we will delve into arson and firefighters and Indiana. We're going to look at a lot of different reports on this. But for today, I'm going to end it and calm down. We will continue talking about Flora. Hope you have a great week, and I will see you next time. In the meantime, stay silky.
I had muted myself so I could tell the dog to quit barking. Sorry. I wasn't listening. Oh my gosh. Okay, now let me see what you're saying. Yeah. Shibby, Carter said a lot of things. That's all I'm going to say about that. Carter said a lot of things. I'm glad you're doing, let's see. Okay. All right. Yeah. Sorry. Carol. Yes, they found accelerant residue during the investigation towards the back of the residence. I'm sorry, y'all. Okay, here's the thing. Let me go back. Because apparently I had, I don't know, I was saying, I look like Sasquatch now. I don't know what happened. It's pretty dang, there's a lot of humidity right now. So, humidity here. But, a lot of you were asking about the timeline, okay, for all of that with Joe's, and I don't think I had the whole video. I don't think I did the whole thing on the live, because in the whole video, which I think you might can find it in files on Fox 59, I think Evil CJ played, I think it was on one of his lives. I don't think we double streamed it when he played the whole thing. But it's very hard to listen to. Joe Lewis had it, and I don't know if it's still somewhere. It is a very long video, okay? It's about, I don't know, 20 minutes long at least. it shows, I think it starts with Drew Yoder. It shows how long it took him from the time he got the call. It's his cam, like his body cam or his dash cam. It shows him going to the house, to back to the fire station, back to the house. They're still not there. And this is why I get so upset in the video, because they did everything but come and put the fire out. They called everybody but 911. And if you see it's literally only a few blocks. Okay, they can get there from the fire station to Galen's house in less than a minute. Okay, maybe a minute tops if you're having a big fire truck, but it's late at night. Okay, you don't have traffic. It would have taken them a minute to get there. And what are y'all saying? Anyway, but that's what's hard to watch, and I get so angry because why are you calling instead of calling 911? And that's what I'm talking about. Like, you're watching someone's children in a fire, knowing there are children inside that house that are passing away, but you are gonna call the homeowner? Really? You're gonna call them because what are they gonna do? Perform a miracle? What was he going to do? You're going to call the owner and say, oh, hey, by the way, your house is on fire. See, this is why I get really angry, because my assumption, okay, I am going to assume the best out of people and assume that she did not know. I want to assume that, okay? I want to assume that she did not know there were kids inside. However, their mother is standing on the freaking sidewalk screaming and crying. So you tell me how you call the owner of the house and say, oh, your house is on fire, and nobody bothers to call the fire department. Tell me how you live with yourself, because I'd like to know. And this, people, is why I don't talk about Flora. See, when I do videos, I can edit this part out. I don't understand how you do this. I don't understand what kind of people do this. I understand people are corrupt. I understand people want insurance money. I understand people are racist. I understand a lot of things. But I don't understand how 4 little girls are dying and you can't even call 9-11. And I don't understand when you get the bodies out of the house that you take them to the fire department and lay them out on the concrete floor. Lay them out on the concrete floor. Like they're subhuman. Just lay them out. Here's what we got out of the building. You tell me how you do that. Tell me, Carroll County. How do you sleep at night? I guess if you sear your conscience, you don't have any problem sleeping. I understand, people want to say, well, Becky Patty appraised the house and this one and that one. Look, I know people are corrupt. I don't know who had what to do with what. Insurance fraud, asbestos, yeah, all these things. I know, okay? It's a corrupt business. People in Indiana corrupt. People in Alabama are corrupt. Corruption everywhere. I get it. It happens. People suck. They do. I work with a whole jail full of people that suck. Okay? They're not there for being good citizens. Some people become better people. Some people don't. Most don't, honestly. But you tell me how you don't have any kind of heart. Tell me how you call the homeowner while the mom is on the sidewalk screaming and crying for her babies. Tell me how you do that. Tell me how you break out a window because the fire isn't hot enough yet to take down the building while there are 4 babies in there. You tell me how you throw that rock. Because, yeah, there are witnesses, and it's in the report. They're throwing rocks. Oh, they're trying to get some ventilation in there. But you know what ventilation does? It feeds the fire. And you're not stupid. You know that. How do you stand on the front porch with a water hose and not use it when there are 4 babies inside? How do you do that? How do you do that? Because I don't understand. I really don't. But okay. I don't understand how you prosecute an innocent man and send him to prison for a crime he didn't commit either. I don't know how any of you sleep at night. I don't know. I want to tell you something. I'm glad I don't have to answer for your sins. Got enough of my own, okay? I do. Temper being one of them. But you tell me. You tell me how. I don't understand a person who can do that. I understand people making mistakes. I do. It gets out of control. Something happens. Maybe you got into the arson started. Maybe you were trying to do something. Maybe it was just an insurance claim. Maybe you didn't think they were home. They weren't supposed to be. They were supposed to be away. Maybe you didn't realize. But then you did. Once you saw Galen outside, you did realize. Why didn't you stop it then? Why didn't you stop it? What, you just think it's too late? Or you just didn't care? Just wanted that check? Is that what you wanted? And then we get into the whole racism thing and the whole connections. I don't know how far it goes. I don't know. I'm afraid to look and see what y'all are saying. I really am. Because I'm all heated up. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. Let's see. Let me go back. Let's see. Aw, thank you, Heather Brown. I appreciate that. It's not, look, I do this because I love y'all. I do. I hope I didn't offend anybody. I just really, really. Yes. Galen dated Colton Creasy. That's the next, what time is it? Yeah, that is actually Colton Creasy was one of them. It wasn't Westfall, but it was an early motive. Yeah. Okay, just breathe. Yeah. You see, this is why. This is why I tell you all the time I can't talk about Flora. If it wasn't racially motivated, they'd wait until the girls weren't home. There was that, Shibby. There was that they thought the girls were good, or did they? Didn't they? I mean, Colton was there earlier that day. Okay, there were some other people there earlier that day, so they absolutely knew she was back. Originally, they were supposed to be gone, I think, through that day, but they knew she was there. Was it racial, or was it just about insurance? I honestly think it was both. Let's see. Let's see. Who's eating Captain Crunch? Anyway, yeah. So let's see, it's 9 o'clock. I'm probably going to end it here, but I probably will I've got like another 10-minute video. I've got it pulled up, but I probably won't show it, but it does show the connections. Okay. And Colton Creasy was one. Yes. To Carol, who said that, Patrick Westphal lived like 2 blocks away. He said he didn't at the time, but he did. He did. And again, I can't say, um, was there opportunity? Well, yeah, anybody around there could have been. Was there motivation? I mean, I don't know. Is it reaching? I mean, I don't know. Okay. I will say this. I look at Colton Creasy as very suspicious. His motivation, if you're uh, I can't say the word. If you're a Vinlander and you know what goes with that, if you're a member of that kind of thinking, why are you at Galen's house? Why are you in any kind of relationship with her? Because I'm thinking either you're really stupid to think somebody's not going to come after you, or it's all a setup. Like, I don't get it. All right. Galen is a lovely person. Has nothing to do with her. I'm just saying, if your brain is that twisted that you are a supremacist, if you are a Vinlander, and why are you in that relationship? Why are you hanging out over there? That's very sus to me. Okay. And so I have to wonder if you were part of it. The back door was open. So it's either somebody who had a key. In the beginning, I had to wonder, was it the landlord that had a key? Was that the reason the door was open? Or was the door left open by somebody who came in, knew how to get in, went out? I don't know. Was the door left open on purpose and Galen didn't know? Certainly, uh, certainly life has been hell for her since. How do you come back from that? I don't know how you do. I've seen her in many interviews, many live streams. So she's an amazing person, by the way. But anyway, okay, so the cereal is an inside joke. Okay. That's okay. I just like, what, did I miss something? Did I miss something in the comments? All right, I'm gonna let y'all go. We may talk Flora again. I do have that one little video that shows how Patrick and Colton Creasy and all this kind of stuff kind of does come together, along with, the whole insurance scammy things. There used to be, and Lord, I wish I had recorded it. There used to be a creator that had so much detail about the fires in Indiana, and actually used some of her stuff in one of my live streams, and I can't remember which one it was, with permission, but it was very small. Her research was phenomenal. And I asked about her stuff. We would communicate from time to time, not very often, but email back and forth a little bit. And I noticed that her channel, I couldn't find her channel anymore. And so I tried to email her and it came back. Somebody knew her and I asked, like, hey, what happened? And apparently she took down all of her stuff. I don't know if she had threats. It was something like that. And I'm not even going to tell you her name, but she was brilliant, a brilliant researcher. I was always amazed at her stuff. And some of y'all might remember that, but she did some stuff about the fires. I wish I had just screen recorded it just so I could remember. But uh, let's see. Aw, thank you, Heather. Okay. All right. I'm going to try to calm down so I can get some sleep. I can sleep well once I take some melatonin because otherwise I can't sleep for nothing. All right. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. If you are on the replay crew, again, sorry, I lost my temper. Again, why I don't talk about Flora? I can't do it. That's why I can only make videos about it so I can edit out my rants. And let me tell you something. I kept it more under control than I thought. Like, I didn't say anything. I was mad, but I didn't say anything terrible, which is pretty dang impressive if you knew what was going through my head. All right. I love you all. Thanks for hanging out. Stay safe out there. Whatever you do, just stay silky. I'll see you later. Bye bye. Maybe.